Have you ever wanted to verify your caller in Retell AI before moving on with your workflow? If so, continue watching this video and I'll show you how to do it. Hello, I'm Tony Kim, founder and solopreneur of Tonic AI Agency. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to build a Retell agent that can verify a user using a one-time password or OTP to verify it's that person and then continuing on with our workflow. Tonic AI Agency, we are a company that helps organizations with automations in particular that utilize AI. So we include AI voice agents. I am a Retell certified partner, and definitely Retell is my go-to AI voice agent that's the most consistent, reliable, and releases excellent features and product updates. So big fan of Retell, and again, partner with them. Have AI chatbots, which are a lot smarter than traditional chatbots that you've seen years ago. These are all powered by LLMs and can call functions, things of that as well. Website design and hosting, I do some AI assisted design. For example, this website was designed utilizing those tools. Social media AI, that's to help automate some of your posts. You can kind of set it and forget it and just come in and, get your month's social media set up. API integrations, that's huge. You can use any tool you'd like for automation. n8n is my preferred tool. I am a Zapier partner as well, but n8n is my preferred tool just based on the functionality, features, and the community around it as well. So if you are interested in signing up for any of these, you can come to my site, tonic.agency. If you click on any of these are my affiliate links. If you can, that's great. Today, again, I'll walk through a video on how to that verification from a caller. Apologize from the quick scrolling. Very, very transparently, this is my first video that I've made. I'm not comfortable doing this. I've never had a strength in recording myself on a one-way. I have no problem talking to people on a conversation or on a phone call, I should say, or web call. But this is definitely an area of weakness of mine and an area that I feel most uncomfortable. So please bear with me and let's get on to the build. All right, so we're going to just start here in a new Retell conversation flow agent. This may be a little bit of a longer video. Basically, what you want to do is very simple, like how would you like to receive the notification via email, text, or both? Again, this can be put in any part of your process. I'm just creating a brand new conversation flow agent just to show you the functionality. So as simple as saying users answered either email, text, message, SMS, or both. Allow for email and text because SMS is referred to as text or SMS. From that point, you'd want to do some sort of extract variable, which is relatively new to Retell as well. So we'll connect those two nodes. From here, this is where we say, what are we going to do? Are we going to send it just via email? Are we going to send it just via SMS/text? What are we going to do? I generally only just say continue to next node, as there's no skip kind of response or whatever on that one. So on these ones, you can say skip response, extract variable. I just want to extract that variable and then move on to the next node. In this next node, as you can see in this one here, I set it as a communication preference. So this is what we're going to want to set the logic on. So in here, I'll go add an equation and I'll say variable and put in that one in there. And I'm going to say simply as just SMS. Okay. I'm going to add a new one, same thing. And then this is going to say email and I'll add another one and it's going to say both. Now you're going to notice that I forgot the variable parameters here. So I'm just going to put those in these curly brackets. So now we have a workflow depending on what the user says. If it's going to be SMS, email, or both. For an SMS one, let's just start there because that's at the top. And this SMS. I have built a quick little prompt using ChatGPT to verify with the caller what that phone number is. I'm not going to go through it exactly. It's basically any way that you're verifying a phone number with a user and making sure it's SMS capable. Your prompt, I'm sure, is a lot shorter, but this is a very detailed way that I can verify that information. So from SMS, I do that. I want to do another extract variable because this is the one now that I'm going to use to send to n8n. So I'm going to change this name to phone number, change the description to what I put in here before. So the North American phone number that the users provided that can be texted to in E.164 format for North America, obviously. If you don't describe the transitions, it's going to get stuck on the node. So just put something there. I just said that they provided confirmed an SMS capable phone number. Extract that variable. And then from here, again, I usually just say continue to next node for the extract variable. If we copy this and go to email, then I'll just go another conversation. email. And now because I want both of these going to the email or if it says both email or both, I want it both going to this email node. So same thing, whatever you have for your verification. This one here is probably a little bit too much because it verifies everything, but it's worked well on the calls that we've needed to verify email addresses. I probably have like 5 or 6 different email verification prompts that I've used in the past. So whatever works best for you. We're going to extract a variable on this one here simply as email address, right? So that person provided an email address, and we're just going to say the email address of the user and keep it as a text. Same as this one, I'm going to say continue to the next node. Now the difference here, because we are saying if it's both, I'm going to want to put a logic split node in here. On this logic split node, basically all I'm doing is I'm saying is the communication preference, is it both? Now, if it is both, what we want to do is we want to bring that back to SMS. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to drag it to SMS. If it's an SMS and email, it'll get the email first, and then it'll get the SMS phone number. From there, I can have a function that I'm going to call n8n. I'm going to create a function. If you click on this function on the left, it'll bring up select function. You're going to want to go to custom function. Okay, so I'm just going to create a brand new workflow here. I'm going to call this test Retell user verification. So the way we're going to want to trigger this is putting in a webhook. You probably want to add some authentication on this. I'm not going to. I'll show you where you can do that, but I'm just basically going to set up a generic webhook. I'm going to change this to respond via webhook because that's how we're going to get the data back into Retell. So this is your production URL. I'll copy that. This is not active right now, but I'm just going to copy that into the function. And inside there, I'm just going to call this one a start function. Okay. Simply description for us to know what it is, starting a test function. Is I'm going to want to pass some parameters. We have a few things in there that you saw. You saw the communication preferences, you saw the phone number, you saw the email. I'm going to want to pass all of those things. Phone number, and then the way you do that, these are the same variable names. You just put them inside your curly brackets, and then that's now going to pass your parameters into your endpoint there. The other thing we're going to do, and I'll show you this later, but we're going to want to use response variables. So I will leave this blank for now, come back to it to show you which response variables that we are going to expect from the webhook so we can save it into a variable name. So now I have my start function. This is going to call an n8n instance. If it is just email, let's just call that function. And then what we're going to want to do here is also go to here. So basically what it does is that it finds out, are you SMS? If it goes SMS, it verifies information, extracts it, and sends it to that start function. If email or both, it'll email, and then it'll actually go to the SMS if it's both. If it's not both, it'll just go straight to that function. So I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to listen for a webhook. But I also need to respond so it actually works. So just to show you some execution data here. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to say test just for now so you can see the data. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to say for now, I'm going to say both. So you can see that the tool extracted the variables. It's asking for information. So email. So I'm going to just say Tony@tonic.ai. Again, this is where if it's on voice, it asks to verify before the @ symbol and after. So I'm just going to walk through some of these here. Yes, that's correct. No, that is correct. You can see it went and it actually extracted that dynamic variable and it said that it is Tony@tonic.ai. Goes to the SMS now. And so for this one, I am going to put in my phone number here. I put my phone number in there. This will confirm. I'll say yes. And then from here, you can see that it actually started that start function. So you can see the execution came in and here's your queries. So both my phone number and my email address. So inside this voice agent, what you're going to want to do is before you respond to anything, let's do a set variable. One of the most important things that you're going to want to do is set a wait webhook node. And then what you have to do here is you go execution dot resume URL. So this now will create a resume URL that you're going to have on your next wait node. So that's very, very important. I'm going to say now, I'm just going to start copying over here that we have a verification code and I'm just going to do a random 5-digit number. Okay, so you can see every time I click into that, it creates a new 5-digit number. The other things that we're going to want to do is get our communication preference. So if we come in here and we say communication preference, we say phone number, and we say email address. Now this is just using JSON.query, but if you really wanted to make sure it's a little more robust, you could just call out the actual webhook node, and then you're gonna have to reference the item.json. So if you add any steps before it or those kind of things, then this will still reference the right place. Now if I execute this, you can see that I have a random verification code. It has that wait webhook that it's waiting for. And then from here, what I want to do is I am adding a switch node. So based on the actual data coming in from the communication preference, you're going to want to do one that says from SMS. You're going to want to do one from email, and you're going to want to do one from both. And then this will allow you to determine which way your path is going to go in n8n. So on this one here, this is going to go to both. I'm just going to disconnect this for a second here. On both, I'm going to have a send email. Okay, send email node. I have my credentials already set up here. So on your SMTP node or your send email node, you'll have to create your own credentials on how you want to use it. I'm just going to say from hello. And then what I'm going to do is use that too for the edit field that was inside there as well. Subject line, just something very, very simple. Just for today's purpose, I'm just gonna do something very simple. So this here now will send an email to the user because it got that email from the actual voice agent, and we'll use that for your to field. From here, I want to do the email and the both, and then I also want to do the other side from a SMS. So for SMS, I'm just gonna use a Twilio. Same thing, you're gonna want to use your Twilio account here. You're gonna want to use a phone number that you have access to. So when you have your A2P verification in Twilio, you will be able to send messages from there. Make sure that you have that verified, and inside here you can just add your message. I'm going to say send an SMS app if it's on both, but to also consider when we say both, I should say, we need an if statement. So the if statement, we're going to take that communication preference, and we're going to say if it's equal to both, because this is now coming through the email chain. This is how we're going to determine what's going to happen. I'm just going to click on this. It's going to send me an email. Then we go to if both, and if it's on true, this is now where you want to send this to the actual WhatsApp as well, because we're doing both. Otherwise, you can respond to a webhook. In the webhook, what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond with a JSON. This JSON is where I can determine what information that I'm looking to send. It looks like it's not an expression, that's why. On here now, you respond to webhook, and this is what it's going to do is it's going to send it back into Retell with the actual verification code and the wait webhook URL. So you can see there's two things being passed back. So what we want to do now is we want to go back into the agent with Retell and show you how to capture those functions. So under your function, we have your start function. I was mentioning down here in the response variables, you want to capture that data. So what we called it wait webhook, and we called it verification code. I'm going to just give these different names so it's easier for me to understand here, but I have resume webhook and I have wait webhook. Resume webhook is the wait webhook URL, and then the check verification code is the actual verification code. So now you can see that it actually resulted in a tool which gave me the webhook URL and it gave me the verification code. That is great because now we have detail from the actual function, and we can use that to create a new function to check that data. I'm going to show you how to build that. So in this function here, I'm going to say add custom function as well. And here's the really, really cool thing. Why is it still showing that one? Okay, so that's obviously a bug. I'm just going to refresh so it clears that form. Function, add, custom function. I'm just going to call this one resume webhook, again, just from a simple description. And then what I'm going to do, which is super neat, is that post URL, since those are randomly generated, this is why we assigned it to a dynamic variable. I'm going to use the post as a dynamic variable from resume webhook, which is very, very neat. That's all I'm going to do for this one. I will return some responses later so that we can see what it's saying, just to show you. But if I save that now, we actually have a start function and a resume function that we can utilize to call to n8n. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to add a new conversation. I have continue to next node as my transition. Okay. And I'm just going to say, ask if the user would like to continue, and if so, what the 5-digit verification code is. Read back the number to the user to ensure accuracy. If incorrect, then ask again for the user to confirm the 5-digit number. I put this in just for debugging, so you can actually see that it comes through. And it asks, did you want to continue? If so, what is that 5-digit verification code? One of the transitions is they will proceed. And the next is that they don't want to proceed. From here, we're going to do another extract variable. And on here, I'm going to actually just say, what's that variable that they have told me? Or sorry, what's that verification code that they have told me, not the one that comes back from the webhook. So I'm going to just simply make this a number and you call it a user verification. Just like everything else, my condition is continue to the next node. If you do not set some sort of transition, it will get stuck. So just as a verification. On here, I'm going to do another logic split node. This is where that logic comes. Before we had that check verification code, which came from, we have check verification code, which is the verification code that the n8n instance gave us. And then we also have now the user verification code. So what I want to do here is I want to say if equation, I'm going to say the user verification code equals the check verification code. So this will now ensure that the data that the user is giving us is the same, that the n8n instance is the same. So let's start here first with verifying if that number is proper. So I'm just going to say, sorry, that one's not, because it said else. So it says, sorry, what is the 5-digit verification code again? Same thing is that it'll actually say, did the user provide that 5-digit code? Or maybe the user's like, I don't want to do this. I don't have my phone on me. I can't get or my phone or my email for some reason. I can't get the code. Maybe they're calling from somebody else's phone. So I've got two options here. If the user doesn't have it, I probably want to say in here, actually what I missed in here is just like saying something like, okay, bye. Thanks for calling. So if they said no on they don't want to continue, it'll go okay, bye. So same thing is that if the user doesn't want to continue or can't give the user code, then come back to okay, bye again. From there, if the user does want to change again, because this is something that basically if they say the code doesn't come back properly, they'll say, hey, what's that code again? And it'll continue into a loop and they say, sorry, I don't want to do this. So it'll keep extracting the number and verifying against the actual code that's given back from n8n. So this one here is where they have verified it is good. So here's where we'd want to set in that resume function. They've been asked again for that code. I'm just going to go right back into that extract variable. So I have that resume function in here. It goes into here. Now the webhook, this is how you can add some extra information in here. On the workflow build out here, after you have a respond to a webhook, this is where you want to wait. So this is where it's waiting for an actual response. And in this wait node, this is where we say it's on a webhook call. I'm not going to need authentication. I'm just going to do a post on this one. And then I'm going to also say respond to webhook node here. So I'll show you what that looks like here. This will only execute past here if there is a match. So all I'm going to do here is say results is it worked. This is how we're going to check to see if it works. So obviously you can build out your other workflows here, like whatever you want it to do. There's infinite possibilities that you can do once someone's verified. But all we're doing here is we're going to wait. And I'm going to show you how that works. And then once it waits, it's still using this URL where it is the wait webhook. So let's show you how that works. So if I go back into Retell, I'm just going to say it's in that response from a response resume webhook. Is I can do something as simply as going back into the function, going resume webhook. You notice at the end that I was responding something called results. So same thing down here, you want to go response variables, results. I'm just going to call it something as simple as webhook results. So now we can use webhook results as a variable, which we can use a transition from. So I can say transition equation, and you say webhook results is, and I had it set as it works. You can set other ones now if you want, where you can say does not equal it worked. And then that way you can have two different paths, right? So you can have something as simple as a awesome, that worked. And then you can have another one which is like, it's too bad, it didn't work. So this is basically the entire build and workflow. I will show you from a text point of view so you can see what's going on, and then we'll try the agent to do it as well. So if I go to text, it starts, it says hi. I'm going to say both just to show you the functionality. Again, any verification you have for your email or your phone, you can do. I'm going to say tony@tonic.ai is my email. Do you want to confirm? I'm going to say no, it's correct. And then it's going to ask me at the back part, say no, it's correct because I know I'm typing it in. Now it's going to go to the phone number. So it's saying, is that correct? I'm going to say yes. Now, if we go to the executions, you can see it's in waiting. What it did was it went through and it knows that it's both. It sent the email, which I did receive. And then there's the wait node here, which is currently on. So if I go back into Retell, you can see that the actual tool results is showing the code as 28749, which is the same as my email. And it is getting stuck here, which is interesting. This has happened before on extract variables. I might have to restart this here. So let's try it again. So you can see that there is some issue with the extract variables, or will get stuck on it. But you can see that it did that there. So I'll show you on an actual phone call. Hopefully you can hear the audio. This is my first time using this tool, so hopefully. Okay, it looks like the recording of the system audio didn't work in that last tool I was using, so I just switched it over, which is why the video is probably going to look a little bit different. Again, as I create more videos, hopefully I'll have my systems and tools all figured out, but this is my first video, so thank you for being patient with me. So let's get through this here. I did notice that this agent is talking for an upload link for the email, so it's obviously not that, so just ignore that part.
Hi, how would you like to receive the notification? Via email, text message, or both?
Can I get it by email, please?
All right, could you please say the email address you'd like me to send the upload link to?
Yeah,
You can
it's
just
tony@tonnnic.ai.
to verify before the at symbol I heard, TONY. Would you like me to read that back
Nope,
phonetically?
that's correct.
All right, did you want to continue? If so,
Yeah,
could you give me the 5-digit verification code? I'll read it back to you to make sure it's correct.
yeah, I got the verification code as 24902.
Sorry, that code didn't go through. Can
Oh,
you double
sorry,
check?
sorry. I meant 24903.
Awesome, that worked. You're all set. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Perfect, thank you. So as you can see, it worked. You'd have to set up some workflow differences at the end of your n8n if you want to continue down that path, or even continue in the conversation here. You could just build out a tree. So I appreciate you guys coming through this journey with me. I do help companies and agencies with their automations, their voice AI, websites, etc. So if you are interested in getting my help, please reach out to me. You can reach me through my website, which is https://tonic.agency. That's tonic with two N's, tonic.agency. I'll put the text on the screen here as well. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing from you and hope this helped.